Chapter The Hunt. The moon hung like a cold judge in the inky sky, casting long shadows across the forest floor. Every tree seemed to whisper secrets to the wind, every rustling leaf a conspirator in the ancient ritual of the hunt. Kalen's breath misted in the icy air, his sharp eyes locked onto the faint trail of broken branches and paw prints ahead. Her scent lingered in the damp earth and decaying leaves, a heady mix of vanilla and honeysuckle, underscored by the unmistakable musk of her wolf form. It was intoxicating. Every breath he took filled his lungs with her essence, clouding his thoughts and sharpening his instincts. "Almost there," he muttered under his breath, his voice a low growl. His pulse thrummed with the primal thrill of the chase. "She's almost within my grasp. Soon she'll be mine." Kalen moved like a shadow through the trees, silent but relentless. His muscles coiled with energy as he stalked his prey. The forest seemed alive with her presence, her movements weaving through its fabric like a melody. Then he saw her. Lyra stood in a small clearing, her body bathed in silver moonlight. She was mid-transformation, her human form giving way to the wolf. It was a breathtaking spectacle, one Kalen could never tire of watching. Her fur shimmered like liquid silver, rippling over her frame, while her eyes burned with untamed fire. A fierce beauty, raw and wild. Kalen mirrored her, his own transformation seamless. Muscles rippled under his dark fur, his claws extended, his fangs bared. The hunt had become a game, but the prize was more than mere sport. "Lyra," he called, his voice a deep rumble that carried through the night. "You can't escape me. You're destined to be with me, whether you like it or not." Lyra's head snapped up, her ears twitching, her body tensed to spring. "Destined?" she snarled, her voice a guttural growl. "You're delusional. I'll never be yours. You're nothing but a twisted shadow of what a true mate should be." Kalen smirked, his eyes glinting with a dangerous light. "Feisty," he said, his voice thick with amusement. "I like that, but you'll come to understand. Destiny may have other plans, but I'll rewrite them. And when I do, you'll learn to love it." "I'd rather die than submit to you," Lyra snapped, her fangs flashing as she crouched low. Her muscles coiled with tension, ready to fight or flee. Kalen's laughter was low and menacing. "That's where you're wrong," he said, lunging forward, his claws extended. Lyra darted to the side, her agility unmatched. She moved like a blur, her claws raking the air where Kalen had been moments ago. "You can try to chase me, Kalen," she taunted, her voice sharp and defiant, "but you'll never catch what isn't yours." The two wolves clashed, a dance of strength and speed, power and precision. The forest bore witness to their battle, the trees trembling as their snarls echoed through the night. Lyra fought with the fury of a wolf protecting her freedom, while Kalen's movements carried the desperation of a man chasing an obsession he couldn't abandon. "You can run, Lyra," Kalen snarled as she darted past him once more, "but you can't hide forever." She glanced back, her eyes blazing. "We'll see about that," she hissed, vanishing into the shadows. Kalen stood motionless for a moment, his chest heaving, his claws curling into the earth. A slow, predatory smile spread across his face. "The game isn't over, Lyra," he whispered, "not by a long shot." Chapter 4. The Confrontation. The wedding hall glittered with forced gaiety, its gilded chandeliers casting fractured light over the revelers below. Ronan stood at the altar beside Isolde, his hands clenched into fists at his sides. The air was thick with the sickly sweetness of roses and candle wax, but it felt suffocating to him. Every vow he'd spoken felt hollow, every promise a lie. His heart was elsewhere, lost in a storm of longing and regret. "This isn't right. I should be with Lyra." The thought stabbed through him like a blade, his chest tightening with a familiar ache. He forced a smile for the guests, but his mind was miles away, chasing a dream he could never reach. Then, the doors to the hall burst open. Kalen strode in, his presence commanding and uninvited. His sharp features were alight with a smug arrogance, his dark eyes scanning the room until they landed on Ronan. A slow, wolfish grin spread across his face. "I have news," he announced, his voice cutting through the brittle cheer like a knife. The crowd fell silent, turning toward the intruder. "I've found your fated mate, Uncle, and let me tell you, she's quite something." Ronan's jaw tightened, his hands trembling with barely contained rage. "What have you done?" he demanded, his voice low and dangerous. Kalen laughed, the sound cold and sharp. "Nothing you could stop. She's mine now. Stronger than you think, and soon she'll see it too. Isolde's gasp shattered the tense silence. Her face had gone pale, her hands clutching her bouquet like a lifeline. "What is this?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Who is this woman? Why are you so angry?" Kalen turned to Isolde, his smile venomous. "He's lying to you, cousin. Obsessed with a girl he's never met, a childish fantasy." Ronan's control snapped. Fury exploded through him as he lunged at Kalen, his movements a blur. "She's more than a fantasy," he roared, his voice echoing through the hall. "She's my life." Kalen met him head-on, the force of their collision sending guests scattering. Tables overturned, glasses shattered, and screams filled the air as the fragile piece of the celebration dissolved into chaos. "You'll ruin everything for her," Kalen hissed, his claws digging into Ronan's shoulders. "You can't protect her. You don't even know her." Ronan's eyes burned with resolve. "And you don't own her." The fight raged on, a clash of wills and claws. As the hall descended into disarray, one thought consumed Ronan: Lyra. He had to find her, protect her, before it was too late.